There will be no cover-ups, and we will bring everything we find to the DOJ.
I imagine that Cash shouldn't have said that he would release everything on the first day if he wasn't going to do it. Now, I'll get a ton of people in my comment section that will say, you have to give them time. Oh, no. No. This is ridiculous. This is stalling. This is what I said they were going to do. They're going to stall. They're going to find all these excuses. Well, we have to go through the proper channels. We have to do this. No, then Cash shouldn't have said, no, I'll release it on the first day. I know everything. Okay. No. So, and they'll come out with something that will pull people in, like, look at what they're doing. Yeah, and I'm not including Trump. Trump knew what these people would do. And you may say, then why did he put them in? Well, because you have to see it for yourself. You have to see how they're bullshitting. Let's take the JFK files. Why haven't those been released? They were supposed to be released, what, a decade ago? That's what I think all this really goes back to. I really do. Because at this point, everybody that was involved with the JFK stuff is either dead or near dead. So this idea of protecting people, please stop it. It was supposed to be released to the public a long time ago. And what did Trump say when he was first in? He said, if you saw what I saw, you wouldn't want to release it either. And I've thought about that many times, like, okay, so then it means it's something much darker. It's not just who did it or how many people did it. It's darker than that. And maybe Trump felt that the public wasn't at a place that they could handle it. Because I think ultimately that's where it all stems from. Everything that, because think about it. You had the death of MLK, you had JFK, you had RFK Sr., you have the Kennedy curse, which has just killed a bunch of people. And I've said before, does it go back to a sacrificing of here to remain in power? JFK really was not such a good president. You think that he said he was going to take down the CIA. No, he really started working heavily with them. Yeah, it says here that when John Kennedy took over the presidency from Eisenhower, he initiated quite a change in the CIA. It took some time because at first he was so upset with them over their handling of the Bay of Pigs crisis that he wanted nothing more to do with them. However, he quickly changed his mind and started to supercharge their activities. Yeah, he overthrew a bunch of leaders. He supported the apartheid in Africa after saying that he wouldn't support it while he was campaigning. So that, that's not good. Yeah, his lax foreign policy on apartheid in South Africa. Again, but JFK brought all the Kenya students here, totally disregarding Black Americans. While JFK certainly had his hands full dealing with problems in Latin America, his policies toward Africa offered him little respite. While campaigning against Nixon in 1960, Kennedy criticized the Eisenhower administration and their attitude towards Africa. However, when he took over in early 1961, there was a strong continuity between the two administrations' Africa policies, so supporting segregation. Communism came into our country, but I don't think it's just that. There was a lot of people, and you can't bring this up because then people get all sensitive. So I'm just saying it, because I just wonder. There was a lot of people that had concerns back when Kennedy was elected because he's Catholic. Again, I was raised Catholic. I have nothing against the Catholic people. But there were when this country was founded, there were people very concerned about the pagan practices. Not saying that you can't be Catholic. Okay, so don't get it all twisted here. But there were people in 1960 that had concerns about a Catholic taking, because then it would mean the Vatican, being really in charge. And he was the first Catholic president. I think we've only had two Catholic presidents, him and Joe Biden. Both that escalated war. Yes, JFK escalated war around the world and taking out leaders. So you can look into that, or you can continue to believe that he's been this Camelot. And it's just there's too many things that are red flags with him, and yet the Kennedys seem to have been put on this pedestal. And what I wonder is what could be so awful that Trump would say that if the people knew, they would, if people saw what I did, they wouldn't release it either. That can't mean because of who would be implicated. That can't mean what because of a certain agency. I think it means it's because it's darker. And that darkness has continued on. It's the reason there were so many deaths. But were there so many deaths because it's, you get in bed with the devil and you need to sacrifice some people to keep your power and wealth, and you could say I'm just some crazy person, but then tell me how it is that after 60 years you still can't release the JFK files. Do you know that Congress, that they are going to actually travel to Dallas and do a total new investigation into JFK? Now, this is to make you think that the first one wasn't done properly, so we need to do this. And all of this is stalling. All of it is. Release the damn files. You were supposed to do it a long time ago. Everybody's been stalling it. And that's what they're doing now. They are stalling. Many of these people ran around and said it's going to be done the first day. But then I get people in my comment section saying, you got to give them time. We've had time. There's been time, especially when it comes to the JFK files. These people are trying to stall Trump's administration for 4 years, then get Vance in there, and Vance will be a puppet. Or anybody, even if it's a Democrat. They'll be a puppet, and they can continue on their bullshitting of the American people. I mean, they're literally trying to pull people back into the matrix. And they'll find some crisis to get you focused on so that you forget all about the JFK stuff, so you forget about the Epstein stuff. I mean, hell, they'll make a ton of excuses about the Epstein stuff. Oh, we have to deliver it to DOJ first. Well, then Kash Patel shouldn't have been saying that we'll release it the first day. He said that because he's a bullshitter. They're bullshitters. That's what they are. It's ridiculous. And now this whole thing about, the New York isn't giving the information. And it's like, shouldn't have Kash Patel known this? Because he was running around on like Sean Ryan and all these different podcasts saying, well, I know this and I know that. Yeah, what did you know, Kash? How did you know so much more? I mean, he was a former advisor or I don't want to say an advisor. He played a role in the first administration for a short time in Trump's administration. So all these people have just lied to the American people. So, and they're going to continue. How hard is it? Like JFK files, that's easy. Release it. Stop saying you need time to go through it. You've had 60 years to. You're hiding it is what you're doing. Because I think that ultimately, that, more than anything else, is the very document that will be what tells the that's what they don't want people to know. Because if you realize that evil does exist, and evil got into our government when Kennedy was elected, then you wouldn't want to know. If you realized that, let's say JFK was a sacrifice, let's say RFK was a sacrifice, or let's say maybe there were some people that took them out because they knew they were communists. But he was already causing a bunch of problems. And there's questions about whether he truly won the election. So it's like I'm not saying there wasn't bad presidents before him or that he was, but he's been made into that he was this, wonderful, and maybe he was. I'm just speculating everything I'm saying. But if you use your brain, why after 60 years do they need to go do another investigation? And why would the people tolerate that? I don't think the people will. I think that people are going to rise up and be pissed off because we're sick of it. These files for JFK should have been released a long time ago. Yet if they're that bad and they still haven't been released, then that should tell you that probably holds the key to everything. Likely maybe where the majority of the problems began for America.